I'm the classic agency type. Muscular, low to the ground, compact. Are you interested in joining? I'll tell you, the benefits are fantastic. The trick is not to get killed. That's really the key to the benefit program.
Serpentine! What? Serpentine!
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the IMMP podcast from the Inter-Millennium Media Project. My name is Matthew Porter.
And I'm Ian Porter.
I'm his dad. He's my son, and I made him watch another movie.
You made me rewatch a movie.
That's
because
right.
You've shown me this one before.
Yeah, this is one we had watched before.
I wanted to see it again because I now know one of its stars so much better than I did when you first showed me.
Yes, indeed.
And that changes this entire film.
Doesn't it?
Because knowing Peter Falk changes watching the 1979 action comedy The In-Laws.
That makes such a difference. And yes, we watched all of the Columbo series. And, you know, our original Columbo episode, really early in the podcast, that is still our most downloaded episode ever. There are a lot of Columbo fans all over the world.
Yes. And, of course, the timing of this couldn't be more perfect.
Yes.
So.
Yes. We are now into February, listeners, when you're hearing this.
Yes.
And, yeah, it's a pretty busy month here in and around the Inter-Millennium Media Project headquarters.
Yeah.
We've got a wedding planned.
Yay! Yep, that's right. For longtime listeners, you have probably heard me mention my wonderful girlfriend, Jennifer, now fiance Jennifer, and later this month, my wife.
Yay! So we figured, what better chance to talk about a movie involving families being joined by marriage?
Yeah, and the ticking clock of an impending wedding being such a key points to this film's narrative.
Now, fortunately, I get along really well with Jen's dad. I'm hoping he feels the same. Neither of us have abducted the other to a small Central American nation to be part of a currency fraud scheme on behalf of the CIA.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's early days. Who knows what could happen?
That's what should happen. Yeah, that's the other thing. This is a movie where if you understand the sort of things going on in the background, it is all the more intense. Because some of the things they get away with are bewildering.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about the international espionage part.
Yes. And we will, by the way, of course, we will be spoiling this movie as we talk about it. There's no other way to do it.
Yeah. In a similar way, honestly, to The Sting.
Mm-hmm.
This is a movie where it has back and forth twists and turns, I feel. And that changes seeing the movie because less so in some elements. This is a movie where the who's doing what where is a little less intense, but it's still prevalent.
And it's one of those movies where there's constant revelation of things, but it's not you're peeling back layers of the onion and you're getting closer to some truth. It's more of a back and forth. Oh, it looks like this true. Oh, no, this can't be true. Well, maybe it's true. Is it really true? Oh, it couldn't be true. I guess it's true.
It's got an element almost like ping pong in that sense.
Yes. And it all happens within like the 2 days prior to this wedding.
Yeah. Kind of wild. It's 2 days before the wedding. And Vince Ricardo, played by Peter Falk, is finally in town long enough to meet up with the family of the Cornpets.
His son, Tommy Ricardo, is going to be marrying Barbara Cornpet, which is bringing these two families together.
And this is the first time that Peter Falk's character of Vince, it's going to be easier to call it Peter Falk.
Yeah,
I'm going to try to use the names early. This is the first time Vince has been able to meet the other family.
Because while Cornpet is a dentist in New York City, very straight-laced, very by-the-book kind of guy, he's got his practice, he's got his patients, he's got his really nice house in the suburbs in New Jersey. And meanwhile, Vince Ricardo is some kind of international consultant that has him traveling and out of town a lot, which is why he hasn't been able to be here. He tells the weirdest stories about what he does for a living. None of them very believable.
None of them believable at all. But the first shot of this is actually, I think, a great setup.
Yes.
So the first shot of this is nothing about that.
Nope. Kind of a prologue.
An armored truck for the United States Treasury is radioing in about being on their way to the home base. And it is excellent just to set the tone, because even the drivers of the armored truck have this casual chatting attitude.
Yes.
And that is the way this entire film is written. There is every single discussion in this film, whether it be about what did you have for lunch last week, or I've got 15 guns trained on you, what you gonna do about it, are written with the same kind of like, that's life.
The story
to them.
Yeah, the story and the scenes are so well crafted, and yet they're executed with this almost improv kind of easy conversational style. And I think part of that is the energy that the stars, Peter Falk and Alan Arkin, bring to this. But also, I think Arthur Hiller, the director, is really good at having that kind of that comedic, casual, improvisational style, even during weird, intense scenes.
Have we seen Alan Arkin in anything else here?
I don't know that we have. There are definitely other movies that we should cover on the podcast and some TV shows, but I don't think we've talked about him yet.
Oh, wow. Because he's one of those actors who also has, in a similar way to the way Falk has a presence that is distinctly him, but adjusts to his character.
Yeah,
Alan Arkin is the same way. It's like he appears and you recognize him. At the same time, he is absolutely whoever he says he's playing right now, and you do not question.
Yes, he brings so much to the part of who he is, and this is true of both of them, as you say. But cast properly, it just makes those characters so real because so much of it is what Arkin is bringing.
Oh yeah,
and I don't think we have talked about any other Arthur Hiller movies, but he was really a force in directing a lot of these 60s and 70s comedies, these kind of two-character movies or little ensemble pieces that had that sort of witty or absurdist 60s or 70s comedy style.
Yeah. He worked with like Gene Wilder and Silver Streak and things like that, right?
That's
okay.
Right.
So that kind of gives you the tone and style. That opening, though, with this, armored truck rolling down and then being in a heist where it's blocked off from being able to escape, this team runs over, welds the doors shut.
After they pick it up with a giant electromagnet on a crane to put it behind a wall for safety and privacy.
Which is not a silent scene. It's one of the two drivers going like, they're picking us up with a crane. Do they not know who all we are? What are they doing? I got places to be after this. Oh, come on, man.
And they've jammed the radio as well, which I imagine the giant electromagnet on top of your truck might do anyway.
Yeah, that might just do that to begin with. But the entire scene, weld the doors shut, cut the back open, and you're like, oh, wow, it's a big heist. They get in. Oh, there's nothing in here but money.
Right. And they just throw the money aside. They don't care about hurting the guards. They're just welding them in place so they're not in the way. They don't care about the money. They're looking for something else in here.
Yeah. And they find them, these large bubble-wrapped silvery bricks of plates.
Engraving plates for U.S. currency.
That's a big heist. And I love the idea that just like, that makes so much sense, It's mixed in with the money to hide it. It's actually brilliant.
Yes. If you're going to have these secure transport methods for the Mint or for the Bureau of Printing and Engraving or the Treasury, why not use them to transport all of this stuff?
Mm-hmm. And we watch everything get handed off to one of the robbers. And then we get all of the title cards as he climbs the stairs of an adjacent building to get to the meeting on the roof. And that is such a perfect example. because you watch as this guy with a bag and a mask and a heavy set of plates in the bag walk up flight after flight of stairs and just get more tired as he goes. It's watching him like halt at the top of one of those stairs and then keep going. This is not smooth Ocean's 11 style robbery. This is
Yes.
arduous, kind of boring at times grunt work.
And when he meets the guy on the roof, he's asking, why are we up here? What is this about? And we also get a chance to see that, yes, this is Washington, D.C., where they are. And the answer is just, well, there's a reason for everything kind of answer. We never find out why they're meeting up on the roof.
Yeah, we never do.
And the guy that he's meeting to deliver these plates to is Vince
That's
Ricardo, Peter Falk. So at the very beginning, we know that Falk is involved in this crime, and now he owes the people who executed the heist for him, is it $2 million?
$1.5 million.
$1.5 million. So,
Which they want tomorrow.
it's Thursday or Friday. His kids are getting married on Sunday, and he's got to come up with $1.5 million tomorrow.
That's where we set Peter Falk's character, and we then set Alan Arkin's character of Shelley Cornpet in his dentist's office, dealing with weird caricature clients.
All these old New Yorkers.
And being good at his job, but stressed about the wedding and planning that.
He's got patients telling him, oh, you haven't met the boy's father yet? You've got to call off this wedding until you can meet him. He's the tree. The kid is just the acorn, but you got to see his father to see what kind of man he's going to turn out to be. And Sheldon doesn't really give that any credence at first.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it'll be fine. You know, the kid's good. The dad must be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's saying that, and we've just watched the dad be in a heist. That really sets you up for something.
Yes. So we know that his stories about being an international consultant aren't quite right. And he's telling stories about being in some South American place for 9 months where they had giant tsetse flies who would carry away children. This is his dinner conversation when he finally meets the corn pets.
What in the world? Everyone's hanging on to every word of it. But the only character who's not is Alan Arkin's there, who's like, you sure these are flies?
Right. He's not believing a word of this, but he's not coming out and saying, you're a liar.
It's just a little too much for him.
Sheldon is kind of angry and impatient, and it's taken so long to meet. He's late for this dinner party also. But at the beginning, it seems like he feels like he's in control. He's tolerating this weirdo who showed up his house, whose son is marrying his daughter. But he seems very much in control and just doesn't know what to make of this guy, but it doesn't faze him that much. And yet that changes a whole lot the next day.
Because at the end of the dinner, Vince needs to run downstairs and use the phone. Yeah. And makes a call and hides something in there.
And the call was evidently to whoever he owes this $1.5 million to. And he says, well, I held out one of those plates just in case you try to pull something like this. So wherever the other plates are, one of them is still with Vince, and he hides it in the basement of the Corn Pet's house.
Yep. But the next day, when Vince goes to his office, there's two guys waiting outside. So he can't go get them.
Right.
And what does he do? He reaches into his pocket and pulls out the business card he was given the night before for Sheldon Cornpet's dentistry.
So 9 o'clock in the morning, he shows up at Sheldon's office and asks, can I borrow you for about 5 minutes? It's not a big deal, but it would really help me out. Doesn't explain what it is. You know, if you can't do it, I understand, but it really would help.
Actively avoids explaining.
Yes. And that Peter Falk style that you get so much in Columbo when he's asking questions, but I don't want to impose, but it would really help me out if you have an explanation for this. That same kind of deferential insistence. He's railroading you into helping him while he's being very deferential and making it seem as if you're just being so super generous and he'll never forget it.
gotta study that more because my goodness, if I could Peter Falk an entire table of players at like a D&D game, I could make storylines happen and they wouldn't suspect a thing. I gotta learn that.
Yes.
Oh boy. But yeah, he convinces Alan to take a really early lunch.
He wants Sheldon to go in and open the safe in my office and bring out this bag that you'll find there. And there might be two guys who are out front who, don't worry, they're just like business competitors, and I don't want to lose my competitive advantage. But you don't let these guys know where you're going or what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. But immediately, this nervous dentist walking into the building tips off the two guys who follow and pull guns. After
Sheldon has gotten to Vince's office, and it's just this tiny, shabby little office for Transglobal Enterprises. Vincent Ricardo, president. And the safe is behind a photograph on the wall, a signed photograph of John F. Kennedy with something like, "Dear Vince, thanks for everything. At least we tried." And they explain that a little bit later.
Like, what in the world?
He's getting, what did you try with JFK? But he gets the bag, but he's chased by these guys with guns as he's trying to leave. And meanwhile, Vince, who has been outside in the cab, he's now in the bar nearby with the cab driver who's explaining American television to him because he doesn't get to watch much television. And
it's a whole little aside about like, you never seen The Price is Right?
And Vince is explaining why he's out of the country so much, and he tells the cab driver, "Oh, I work for the Central Intelligence Agency. I'm the CIA agent." Now, it's not all James Bond types. I'm your classic agency type. I could believe that, too. Very believable.
It's great. I love that bit. It's his description is, once again, it's an instance where it's like, is he being honest? I don't know what to think.
Right. We've already seen that he's involved in federal crimes and stealing engraving plates.
Yeah.
And yet he does apparently spend a lot of time out of the country. We've seen him lie about what he saw in South America. And now he's telling this kid that he works for the CIA. It's just another lie, right?
Yeah. Right? Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's where we go back and forth, whether to believe him or what to believe as he's saying these things. Eventually, he manages to rescue Sheldon from the pursuing bad guys with guns, and the cabbie gets them out of there. And then we have this long scene in a diner where he's explaining to Sheldon exactly what's going on. That, I work for the CIA, and we have word of an international scheme where the South American syndicate is they've already stolen engraving and printing plates from Germany and from France and from someplace else. And now they want the big fish, the American currency, because they want to print up billions in fake currency, totally devalue the world's currencies and cause tremendous global inflation, because that will make it so much easier for them to pay off their international debt, which they otherwise will never be able to pay off.
A wild scheme.
It is. And so you work for the CIA, and you're the CIA. Well, not exactly, because the CIA didn't believe me and didn't want to do this. So I'm kind of on my own now. If I am doing this and I get caught, they'll shred my file and say they never heard of me. But thank you so much for helping me, Sheldon. I'll never forget this.
And I love that they're doing this in the middle of a diner. And you watch as more and more patrons just start to turn and watch them have this entire scene.
Yeah.
Until they're pacing back and forth, and it becomes like they're the dinner show.
Yes.
For all these other people.
And that's something Hiller is so good at. Some movies would have a scene like this in a diner, and except maybe for a glance from the person at the next table, you wouldn't get any reaction. The other diner patrons would just be part of the furniture. Here, we get more and more people in this diner paying attention to this conversation, including the cooks in the kitchen, because it's impossible to ignore. And it gets loud and it gets so weird.
They're just getting more and more wild the entire time.
And Sheldon, he's got this tension between he absolutely does not believe this, even though he's now seen the engraving plates. And he doesn't know whether to believe this. And if he does believe it, he wants nothing to do with it, and he's terrified by it.
Meanwhile, there's a wedding being prepped.
Yes.
And Carol Cornpet is bringing stuff in, having people bring in boxes and boxes of champagne and things like that, and finds an engraving plate in the cellar. So she brings it to the bank.
Yeah, has no idea what to do with it, but people at the bank must know.
And it's so perfectly timed. It's like, what happens if they find out? Well, they shred everything. We go to jail. Thanks for doing this. Cut to them finding.
Yes.
It's excellently done panic for the audience, and it's only because we as the audience have a completely different perspective. We're getting both moments at the same time, and that means that everyone else is worrying about what might happen, and we're seeing what is.
And so we know what's waiting for Sheldon, because this engraving plate goes from the bank teller that Mrs. Cornpet asked about it to the bank manager. And next thing you know, there is a whole team of treasury agents in the Cornpet house waiting for Sheldon Cornpet, because this is from this big heist that happened a day or so before. And we need explanations, or he's going to go to jail for a long time.
Okay, one bit of trivia I did find out about this movie.
Yeah.
This entire film is about these engraving plates for $500 bills.
Yeah.
And this movie takes place in 1970s.
Yeah.
$500 bills were discontinued in 1945.
Makes them a nice MacGuffin.
They're an excellent MacGuffin. It's got that unreality aspect to it as well.
That's right. It's believable. It's this nice big denomination where you could see if somebody could print thousands and thousands of these, it would be a big deal.
So now we've got chases happening. We've got agents waiting.
Because after Mrs. Cornpet has just been telling the agents what a normal, regular guy, he walks in that door at 7 o'clock every night. He's going to be able to explain. If he knows anything about this, he'll be able to explain it. No worries at all. Next thing you know, the treasury agents who are looking out the window, they see Sheldon pull up in his BMW, see the treasury agent cars, and then turn around and leave at high speed.
The way that is phrased, where it's like, I forget the model of the car.
Oh, BMW pulling in. Oh, that's Sheldon. BMW pulling out.
BMW, and it's everyone in the room going like,
So this high-speed chase through the New Jersey suburbs, and he eventually gets away by hiding himself in the computer spray car painting garage. Automatic car painting. So when he's done, he's got these flames painted onto the hood of his BMW. Being assured, no, don't worry about it. These will never come off. You can't paint over them. It's a really high-quality job.
And so in his panic, he calls the one person who got him into this mess. He calls Peter Falk.
And starts screaming, there are flames on my car.
Flames on my car.
What are you talking about, Sheldon?
I'm talking about Sheldon. Okay. Yeah, they're coming after you. Oh, goodness. Well, you know exactly where to go. You're going to meet me over at the airstrip at this time.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna make a short flight over to the right office and sort all this out.
We're just gonna be going over to Scranton, Pennsylvania. We'll have this fixed up in no time.
Exactly. And they get there, get on a plane, and they're not going to Scranton.
No. But
they do.
The plane is one of the best things there is. It's this tiny business jet. And it's piloted by two Chinese guys, because after Peter Falk hangs up talking with Shelley, we see him pick up another phone and dial somebody and start talking in Chinese. And one of the pilots, Vince winds up piloting the plane, but one of the two guys with the plane is James Hong, who makes everything better. James Hong is just awesome.
James Hong! He's so good. And I love James Hong's scene in this, because he's playing Billy the pilot.
Yes.
But it's watching him do the entire in-flight safety briefing in
Yes.
Chinese.
Give
With all the
little personal presentation for Sheldon. It's great.
it's like he knows exactly it. It's like, oh yeah, the oxygen mask, here's how to fill up the vest. And we just this absolutely still back and forth comedy scene between Alan Arkin.
It's
and
super
James Hong.
expressive, super
So good.
polite, all in Cantonese except for the occasional English word.
Exactly. It's so good. I
is.
loved that bit.
One of my favorite little supporting roles for James Hong.
Oh yes. You could tell he was having fun.
Oh
with it.
yes. Yes. And yeah, like you said, they're not going to Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Nope.
Because Sheldon notices we're
They-
over water. There's no big bodies of water between northern New Jersey and Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Because instead they're going to a small island south of Honduras. Because this is where they were going to do the drop off. This is part of what was happening.
They're going to the island of Tejada to sell they're going to meet a corrupt senator from the Tejada legislature, and then they're going to sell the plates to the general who's behind the whole counterfeiting scheme as part of the criminal syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry, we just, we see the senator, we sell this stuff to the general, we get payment for it, and then we got him red-handed, we arrest it, and this whole thing is done. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. They arrive. There's this, hey, it's good to see ya. And their contact is shot.
Yeah.
That scene is such a great moment of like anti-climax in that sense.
Right. Yes. Because there are some, we're never entirely sure who these people are, but they're against the general and his schemes, and they're anarchists or somebody, but they're riflemen surrounding the airport who shoot the senator that they were supposed to meet. And now, of course, are trying to shoot them.
And this leads to one of your favorite scenes, I know.
Oh, yes, Serpentine. They're trying to get from the plane to the car that the senator had so that they can get away. And Vince is advising Sheldon about how to run to avoid gunfire and serpentine. And it leads to this bizarre chickens with their heads cut off kind of running scene where they're taking so long to cover 20 feet in order to avoid gunfire.
And you get this wonderful bit where we watch Alan Arkin's character get more and more frantic about this.
Yes.
And then we cut over to the riflemen and all their guns are jamming.
Right. So they're not very good at their jobs either.
They're not very good at their jobs, but you watch as Sheldon Cornpet, this dentist, starts thinking that he made it.
Yes.
Starts thinking that the serpentine is the thing that completely worked. There is no other element. And you watch his confidence start to rise.
Yes. And he has to run back to the dead senator to get the car keys. And Sheldon says, no, I will do it. I would rather be out there getting shot than back here alone if you get shot. And then he has to do the serpentine thing all again. He forgets, so he goes back and then serpentines forward again.
Yes.
It's like, this is the magic. It's working.
Yeah, and you do get to see Peter Falk just like, huh?
Yeah.
He's like very intrigued. Like,
You're doing a great job, Sheldon. I'm so impressed.
You don't have to go out. You do that for me? Like, it's legitimate. It's great.
Yes.
I love that moment. But it's part of where the characters start to, I don't want to say grow, but they evolve.
They do. It's not that Sheldon, like you say, it's not that he grows into this role, but he kind of accepts it. Okay, this is real. This is happening. I need to make some decisions and accept this and just try not to ignore the fact that this is where I am right now.
They make it to a small hotel and call the actual mastermind, General Garcia, to perform the drop-off.
So they arrange that meeting. And while Vince is on the phone, Sheldon sneaks away to the lobby and calls the U.S. Embassy to talk to somebody in intelligence.
And they say, oh, yeah, Vince was an agent. He was discharged for being mentally insane.
Yes, he's not with the agents anymore. And the worst thing is we lost a lot of good agents who had to work with him before we realized what the problem was. If you're anywhere near him, get away from him. Don't have anything to do with them. You're in danger.
And Peter Falk comes out and like, oh, you called the agency, huh? Yeah, they said you're crazy. Well, of course they did. They can't tell you over the phone I'm with them. Of course they told you I'm crazy. That's standard procedure. What do you think?
Hey, you're just some random person who called the embassy. They're not going to give you details about real agency operatives.
Which, once again, you immediately flip-flop back and forth. Is it real? Is it not?
And every piece of it is kind of believable when you hear it.
Mm-hmm. Every single bit is potentially accurate, but doesn't quite line up.
Some of these comedy bits are a little too repetitive and go on a little bit too long. As they're kind of wrestling in the hotel lobby while Sheldon's trying to leave, and Vince is saying, you've got to be part of this, and then says, okay, if you really can't come with me, you got to stay here. I'll be back. It'll take less than an hour. Don't worry about it. Then we'll go back to New Jersey. We'll have the wedding. Everything will be fine. And that's kind of where it's left until Sheldon notices that the guys with guns, the anarchists, have taken the place of the cab driver in the cab that Vince is now in, and are following him in another car. And he sees that Vince is in trouble. And it's hard to tell. Is he going to rescue Vince because he knows that without Vince, he's never going to get home? Or does he actually care about Vince and he feels like, I have an obligation to, if I know that I can save this guy's life, I should do it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know either.
Yeah, he's confused too. There's this bonding that's happened, but he doesn't quite know what.
I've trauma bonded with this in-law and it's going to kill me.
Yeah. So there's a second grand car chase.
Another bit that goes on a little too long. So I think sometimes Hiller liked those weird action scenes. And it's almost what you see in some animated comedy these days, where it's the fact that it goes on so long is supposed to be part of the comedy. That never grabbed me, but it's well shot. It just could have been edited more.
And they kind of escape to the general's estate and meet the insane general, played by Richard Libertini, who's another one like I think I've seen him in something, but I don't know what.
Right. He's very much one of those, oh yeah, it's that guy kind of actors. He shows up in these character roles that are pivotal because he drives everything else that happens in this movie once they meet him. And part of it is the weird energy he brings to it. So he's this powerful general who's got all of the opulence and pomp of a corrupt Central American, South American general in the 70s. And his art collection that is like, he's proud of this art collection, most of which is paintings on black velvet.
Yeah.
In fact, his favorite artist, he commissioned to paint a new flag for his nation, which is the new flag features him and a naked prostitute painted on black velvet, of course.
It feels like some weird comedy video from like the Newgrounds and early YouTube days suddenly injected itself into this movie from the late 70s. It's that kind of weird, oh so random humor. Throws the entire movie for a loop.
It definitely changes the tone because suddenly Vince is not the weirdest person in the room by far.
Yeah.
It starts to make Vince seem normal and alert and competent.
And Vince seems nervous around this guy.
Yes, that's right.
Vince is suddenly like serious and concerned. Meanwhile, a recently and still kind of currently traumatized Sheldon is getting into the vibe more. It's like, oh yeah, okay, so we're going to bust this guy. What's going on? I guess this is life.
Just kind of flowing with it. In addition to everything else, the general does the whole bit with the face painted on his hand as a little puppet. Yeah. And insists on having these interactions and doing these little comedy bits. And yet he knows he's doing a bit. And he accepts Vince's compliments when Vince said, that's a terrific act. You're really a gifted performer. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. that's where like it's like early YouTube Newgroundsy feel comes in.
Yes.
It's like this feels off, but it's also acknowledged as such. And the big scene that this leads to is they're shown all of the engraving plates that have been stolen and everything ready to go to crash the economy.
Oh, there will be looting in the streets, and the bloods will run in the gutters, and widows and orphans will be devastated. And you were here at the beginning, my friends. You must be so proud.
Exactly.
Oh, yes. I'm feeling weirdly patriotic right now.
Exactly. Well, let's go have dinner. And they go out to have a meal outside. And we watching Peter Falk play increasingly worried.
Yes. But they get to have the chicken. Earlier on, when they're in the middle of this car chase, and Peter Falk is just taking it super casual, and he's talking about this amazing chicken that they make here with the marinated. They serve it on a hard roll, but you can only get it here. They never, but it's wonderful. We got to stop and get some of this before we go home. And that's what they have. That's what the general serves. He's so proud of it. But Peter Falk is too distracted. Vince doesn't really have an appetite.
Sheldon does say, it's good stuff. You're right.
It is. Yeah.
This is nice.
And they're being serenaded by a military choir singing unlikely songs like I Think That I Shall Never See a Poem as Lovely as a Tree.
It gets weirder and weirder. And then it's, well, I'm a pacifist. I don't like to do violence, which is why I'm sorry, I've got to kill you.
Right.
Says the general.
And this is probably why Vince has been asking, oh, did you hear a helicopter? Or what do you think traffic is like here?
Yeah.
He's obviously waiting for something that is not happening.
Because he figured out, nope, that's not just a choir, that's a firing squad.
Yes. Yes, the choir and the firing squad are the same team.
And there's this long section of them getting ready to be shot and delay tactics and back and forth.
Right. Now I'm supposed to have you should spare Sheldon, won't do that. At least we should have blindfolds. At least we should have cigarettes. All these delaying. And this is one of those scenes where it goes on, but I wouldn't shorten it because it is so weird and vibrant and absurdist.
Yes.
Where there's just all these people running around and Sheldon is blindfolded, wandering away, and somebody tries to bring him back to where he's supposed to stand and be shot by the firing squad.
And you do also get to see as Richard Libertini's General Garcia character here has taken over with that weird humor we were describing.
Yes.
And we watch Peter Falk reestablish his character as the main weird guy in the room by continuing to butt in, cut over, and make this happen. And finally, just when they're about to be executed, agents pile over the walls.
Secret Service and/or U.S. military and CIA come in with trucks and armed agents and save the day.
We forgot one bit that's important, which is the general, as part of the prep, gave them medals and $20 million for the plates.
Yeah, that's true. He awarded them the Medal of Freedom for Tejada.
Which is really, unfortunately, a medal that depicts the exact same thing that was put on his flag earlier, which is awkward.
Yeah. No, he's giving them the Medal of Freedom, and at the same time, he's setting them up for a firing squad. And you're right. Vince was very particular about how the payment, the $20 million payment should be done.
Yes.
A briefcase with 10 million and then two smaller packages with 5 million each.
This all leads to the setup of the two of them, Peter Falk and Alan Arkin, blindfolded on the ground, kind of spinning in little circles as they kick in the dirt as a giant firefight happens around them, which is just wild.
Yes. And this whole rescue is being led by the intelligence attaché from the embassy that Sheldon spoke to on the phone, who explains to Sheldon, I hope you understand, I had to tell you that he was no longer an agent and had been released for mental illness grounds because, I didn't know who you were. I couldn't just give you information about this, just as Vince had told him.
Exactly. It's exactly like. And yet, Shelley is noticing the person from the embassy saying, and you got the $10 million that we were supposed to get from the guy for the payment as part of this.
Yeah, it's right here in the briefcase.
Yep, it says right here in the briefcase. Huh.
The general keeps trying to tell the CIA guy, I gave him 20 million. And Sheldon keeps trying to say, and there's also these other two bundles of 5 million. And Vince keeps interrupting them and not letting them say that.
Yes. It adds a little bit of odd insight as to what's going on here.
And it brings us back to the kind of guy Vince Ricardo was at the beginning, where he's paying mobsters to steal engraving plates from the U.S. Treasury.
And they are let go, and they get home. They get home via helicopter wearing nice suits now.
Right.
I love that.
They're just in time for the wedding, or just a little bit late for the wedding, but the wedding has been delayed.
Just a little bit late.
They've hired the Paramus Symphony Orchestra to play at the wedding.
That's the part where I'm like, no, no. I say we're in the middle of this right now. You don't just change that like that.
Oh yes. Now that you're doing wedding planning, it doesn't matter how nice the orchestra is. You don't add them at the last minute, literally.
Yeah, we've done the planning. Things are paid. Things can't change now.
That's the most disturbing and frightening thing about this, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
You can't be late to my wedding and change things at the same time. He should go to jail for that. Never mind the rest of it. Right to jail.
Yeah. Just the contracts you signed with the people you already had. Come on.
Well, I'm sure the piano player is still going to get paid.
Yeah, especially since they then show up and immediately say, "Hey, sorry we're late." Give time for the orchestra to start up. The what? And here's your wedding gift. And it's the envelopes.
Each of the kids gets $1 million.
Yeah. So
nope. Hang on a moment. Oh, Mom just broke in with, "That's not happening." Unless I take a sudden trip to Paramus, New Jersey, or Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Scranton. Yeah, I understand. But there's one last bit of fake out, which is the agent from the embassy showing up and walking in. It's like,
yeah.
How did you not tell me? How could you do this to me? Your son's getting married to this guy's daughter, and you didn't invite me. It's like, and here's $50 from the rest of the agency. Oh, thank you.
I'll just put it in here for safekeeping as she tucks it into the envelope with $1 million.
And then this perfect moment of seeing Shelley Cornpet suddenly become a little bit more like Vince in that sense. He just carefully lowers his daughter's hand with the envelope out of sight.
Yeah.
In an extremely Vince-like move in that one moment.
Yes.
And there's that bond between them.
So Vince now is retiring from the agency because he's got $4 million to live on, as does Shelley, apparently.
Yeah, he's got $4 million, and my son's married. It's a different time. I can't keep up with this stuff. And that is the end of the in-laws. It ends at the wedding.
It does, and it works very well, almost a full circle in that it starts out talking about this wedding, or after the little prologue about the heist, and then we actually do get the wedding, and they actually are in-laws.
Yes.
Oh, and we do get a final cameo from our pilots, because they're flying over the wedding in a biplane, pulling a banner, "Happy Wedding," and releasing balloons. Whether they did that themselves or if that's something that Vince arranged, who knows?
Who knows? But it tells you that they made it out okay.
Always good to see James Hong again.
Always good to see James Hong.
And it's one of those plots where it's frenetic. It seems utterly absurd, and yet every piece makes sense related to what came before. Everything has an explanation. You start out weird, and that leads to weird.
Mm-hmm. It's consistent in that way. It's wild and frenetic, but it's consistent.
There's one bit of fridge logic I encountered with this movie on this watch, thinking about it last night after I watched it. But it's a piece of fridge logic that makes it make more sense. It's like it's in some ways it seems so capricious that the general would do this deal, give these guys the Medal of Freedom, and then put them up against a firing squad. But it makes perfect sense. Because he has every reason not to trust them. He's just paid them $20 million. And they've accepted $20 million in U.S. currency in payment. Why would they accept that if he's about to crash the U.S. economy, create a massive global inflation? These $20 million are not going to be worth anything. Why would they accept that as payment instead of gold or something else?
accepting the money proves that they're duplicitous.
Right, that they're somehow in on it, or for some reason they don't believe his plan is going to work. Otherwise, the money wouldn't be acceptable payment.
You're right.
So he must have known that they were going to double cross him. They had some other plans. They were going to report him. They were part of the CIA. Who knows? But that was enough of a tip off, I would think. The general may have been crazy, but he was smart.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
So even in that, it has this inexorable logic and cause and effect, as weird as it gets. And I think that might mean that we're heading towards our final questions. What do you think?
I think that's the case.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So hang on, listeners, for those final questions and answers. But in the meantime, if you're enjoying the Inter-Millennium Media Project, please go to IMMproject.com. That's where you will find links to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcatcher or podcast method. You'll also find all of our back episodes, including that early episode about Columbo and We Kept Watching about Columbo because we couldn't stop. We watched the whole series. And you'll also...
It's a good series.
It is. It is so powerful. And apparently a lot of people like that episode.
Hey.
And you'll also find a link to our contact page. We would love to hear from you either on Discord or by email or by U.S. mail at our post office box. You'll find all of that on IMMproject.com. If you want to support the podcast, you can go to our shop and get cool things like nifty coffee mugs and T-shirts and notebooks with various designs, not just the IMMP logo, but also things for fans of The Prisoner. And speaking of CIA people, that favorite sport for ex-spies, Kosho.
Kosho.
And if you want more of the IMMP and you want to support us, you'll find a link to our Patreon. And starting at $3 a month, you can get bonus content. And if you join us at the movie club level, you will also get a mystery DVD in the mail every few months with something that will be on the podcast.
You want to join me in the experience of seeing things for the first time and not knowing what's going to be the next episode you watch? Come join the movie club.
And Ian, where will people find you?
I can be found at itemcrafting.com or as Item Crafting Live on Twitch. We stream every Thursday over here, starting out with some fun bits from the Chow Garden and then going into gameplay or crafting every single Thursday.
Those are very cool streams.
Thank you. And Dad, where can they find you?
You can find me at bymatthewporter.com. You'll find links to whatever I'm doing, including my YouTube channel, where I do regular reviews of movies and of movie theater visits, especially the Alamo Drafthouse cinemas all around the country.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings us to our final questions. First one, it's a movie, screen or no screen?
I'm going to say screen. This is just a fun romp. It's not everyone's jam.
Yeah.
But it's a good action comedy. I almost want to say it's an iconic action comedy because that ability to be frenetic and yet maintain a consistent pace is exactly what a lot of action comedies fail at.
And the ability to balance that absurdism with a plot that does make sense beat to beat. That's hard to do, and this manages it.
And I will also say this movie is a prime example of that late 70s, early 80s filmmaking. It hits that tone just right. If you want to know what films of this time were like, this is a great example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I say screen as well. It's a lot of fun. I acknowledge it is not for everybody. Some people find this style of humor or the kind of character that Peter Falk is playing, they find that more irritating than entertaining. I get that, but I recommend it. Give it a try. And if you want to know more about what my dad's sense of humor was like, this was one of his favorite movies. He loved this movie.
Oh, yeah.
So this was definitely his style. So I was thinking about him a lot when we were watching this.
Which is funny to me because the next thing we usually talk about is the revive, reboot, or rest in peace.
Yes.
But this time I went above and beyond on that.
Oh, yeah?
Because I always look up if there's another film. And there was. There was a remake in 2003. And you know who's a fan of that remake? My lovely Jennifer. So we watched it.
You did?
We watched the 2003 remake, and that means I can compare these two.
Okay.
And if you think that the film is a perfect example of the films of the time, the 2003 is that for when it was.
Really?
It is a very different beast. It still has that same through line, but Michael Douglas and Albert Brooks playing these characters play them very differently. The scenarios of what it means to be a CIA agent and what the CIA is doing and what international politics are like are very different by then. And how much you have that takes place in foreign places and how much is running around the city and how much is about the wedding shifts. But that through line exists.
Do you recommend it? Is it a screen for the sequel for you?
I think I'm going to also say the sequel, which was not as well received by critics, is also a screen for me. But it's a very different film. And I think seeing them both is a fascinating comparison.
Oh, so what do you think? Maybe we should do a Patreon bonus about that.
I think we need to.
All right. I will make a sure
for anyone who joins us on the Patreon, we'll have an extra clip about the 2003 version so that you can get an idea and hear more about that one.
I will give that a try.
Yes, please.
All right.
But so it's been remade, and the cast itself actually has they have a reunion film.
Yeah.
The 86 film Big Trouble was a reunion of the cast.
I did see
bringing together Peter Falk, Alan Arkin, even bringing in Richard Libertini, who played the general, shows up in that film, apparently.
Now, Arthur Hiller didn't direct that. He wasn't involved in that, was he?
No, this was directed and written by different people. And oddly enough, it was part of getting that reunion together for Big Trouble was what caused Universal Pictures to be able to make a deal to get the script for a little movie called Back to the Future.
Is that right?
Apparently,
wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw Big Trouble. It was okay. It was diverting, but it wasn't a great movie. It didn't have the impact that The In-Laws did.
Yeah, but this movie had a big impact on the cast and everything else, it seems, if they wanted to do that sort of reunion. This was a blast for them.
I'm glad to hear that, because it certainly looks, when you're watching it looks like something where everybody involved was having a great time. And I hope that was the case. And this suggests it was if they came back.
Oh, yes. So the questions become, revive, reboot, or rest in peace. Do we want a second movie that follows, I don't know, maybe the happy couple, maybe further adventures of these two? It's been many years, so we do not have the original actors, but narratively, we could have that story. Do we want another remake? They did a 2003. Do we want another one?
Yeah.
Or should this rest in peace? Have we gotten what we need? This was the right thing. We don't need to touch it and do more.
Yeah, I don't think we need a revival. I don't think we need anything in the same continuity. I think it really was of its time. And part of the charm of it was the way it ended. It was this weird happy ending for everybody involved. And I suppose you could, like you said, you could do something with the kids. Maybe after Tommy graduates from law school, he goes to work for the FBI or something. But you don't need that. And I would have said rest in peace until I heard you saying good things about this remake. So maybe at some point there's room for another remake. It is sort of an evergreen idea, even though it's going to change depending on the time and place where it's set. I'm happy to say rest in peace, but I'm open to another remake. What do you think?
I'm kind of the same, although I'm leaning, I think, the other way. I'm okay with rest in peace, but I would be interested in seeing another remake.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in seeing a newer take again, because this story is just a fun setup, and it's a great chance for a pair of comedic actors to test their chops and play off of each other with a wild, thrilling story.
Okay, here's a dangerous question, but maybe I'll cut it out. Maybe I'll use it. Is if you were going to make this within the next, say, 5 years, who would you cast? Are there actors with that kind of energy to play the weird, he's really a CIA guy, and the neurotic, straight-laced everyman who gets roped into this?
Yes. And I'm just trying to think of who I want to cast for one of them. One sec. Weirdly enough, I kind of want to put... Oh, no. Where is he? I'm trying to find the name so I get it right. This is going to sound really wild. I could see a version of this with Adam Driver playing the doctor and Bo Burnham playing the agent.
Oh, I could too. That would work weirdly.
That combo would work, where Adam Driver has some comedy chops, and he's been playing so much serious. I could see him saying, "I want to do something else," and letting him be this kind of person, while Bo Burnham, who is so musical and comedic, getting to play the I'm in dangerous stuff all the time guy. Would be a great inversion between them.
That's interesting. I can see that would work.
Yeah. So I'd be interested in seeing another weird idea that went through my head is that if you were to do a new modern version, I have the perfect unexpected tip of the hat MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Which is a supply of old printing plates that never got recovered from an old job, being the MacGuffin that's being tossed around for a while.
Oh.
Is all you need. And all it does is imply that the 79 film exists in the same universe, but these are none of the same people.
They're stolen from some CIA evidence vault or something, right? Cool.
Exactly. It's like, oh yeah, because I mean, also, if you look at it, you start filming now, you get a movie out in 2027, you're exactly the same distance between the original and its 2003 remake. You could have fun just like chaining time like that, and just like, oh yeah, there was an old job, they're old plates, but if you throw them through circulation, they might do something. Or there's information that's useful still from those. It's like, okay, I can see that being a fun piece of background.
Fun. And about casting a potential remake, I've got a couple of ideas for that.
Okay.
A few years from now, I think they may be a little bit too young now, but at some point, maybe this is just because I'm a big fan of the show Community. Donald Glover and Danny Pudi.
Okay, but you've got to put Glover as the doctor and Pudi as the agent.
Glover is the normal guy who's in way over his head, and Pudi has this weird, is he crazy or not energy. If I were making it now, the cast I would want would be Jane Lynch and Amy Poehler. Jane Lynch as the potentially crazy CIA agent, and Amy Poehler as the normal person who's getting sucked into this.
That works well too. That works really good. I like it both. So there's a lot of things. Like, you throw two comedic actors, you have them flip what you'd expect and then run with it.
Yeah.
This is a good setup. I think we're going to get another at some point.
I bet we will.
Although, I don't know. I bet we will. It's a classic. It's good. I'd say it's definitely fun.
I'm glad we got a chance to watch this again, and we got a chance to talk about it. And like you said, it's very thematic for this month.
Oh, absolutely.
It is going to be a busy month. And
it's going to be a busy month.
And we will admit, listeners, we're recording this ahead of time so that we're not trying to record podcasts in the weeks leading up to a wedding. We've got other things to do in the days leading up to a wedding, like infiltrate corrupt South American syndicates.
Absolutely. Normal wedding stuff.
That's right.
And the next episode is right around when the wedding's happening. So
yes, I believe it is scheduled to drop the day after you are married.
I think so. So, listeners, that might be a special episode.
Yes.
So I think that's going to be an interesting one.
And I believe it will. So please do join us in a couple of weeks for another tale of media from the 20th century.
And in the meantime, go find something new to watch.